Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream. Let's see. Okay. So today we're going to be flying the Sun Country 737 out of Milwaukee into Minneapolis. It's going to be a really short flight up there. And yeah, I mean, I think this might be actually, never mind. I flew the PMDG a while back last year. I thought this was the first time I flew it on stream. I yet have to fly the 777 on stream though. It's a really nice plane. But yeah, anyway, let's just go ahead and start up the aircraft. Get the GPU connected. But yeah, it has been a while since I've flown the PMDG 737. It has been a long time. So let's go ahead and wait for that to connect. And we've got ground power, so let's get the IRS aligned. And yeah, I think let's check the block time, because I do have a sim brief plan. I just generated the briefing, so we'll take a look at that. So we're looking at 58 minutes of airtime and an hour and 26 minutes of block time, which sounds about right. Let's go ahead and load in the fuel first. So EFB, no, never mind. It's down here. So fuel, and wow, it's in pounds. I have to switch that to kilograms. And I also have to get some of the lights, some of the panel lights turned on. So main panel, and we'll go down here for flood. Oh, just a little bit of flood, and brighten up those panel lights and the overheads too. So that should be pretty good. Go ahead and turn off some stuff in FS Realistic. There we go. Perfect. So fuel. Okay, PMDG setup. I wonder if it's in options. I think it might be here. Performance, aircraft, quit displays. I think it's here. This might take a while. Displays. Failures? Doubt. I highly doubt it's there. Okay, so I feel like I skipped it. Simulation, that's where we were just at. I feel like it's an aircraft equipment. Okay. It has to be here. Okay. Yep. Here it is. So kilograms. So it is on page 9 of displays. Is what I need to remember. Anyway, let's go ahead and load up. So FS actions fuel. And for fuel today, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the PDF that I have for the flight. We're only gonna need about 6.2, but I'm gonna go 7.3, so we have about 1,000 kilograms of reserve fuel, and for payload we'll go 154, and for forward cargo we'll go 1800. We'll go 1842. For aft we'll go 2239. Okay, so we've got plane pretty much loaded, and gonna switch those on. We've got no fuel in the center tanks. Let me just go ahead and wait. Never mind. Nav lights are on by default. So departure arrival. Oh no. First we need to do position in it. So reference airport Milwaukee, and let's get the coordinates. So GPS left, go ahead and set that there. Beautiful. And then for flight number, we're Sun Country 1816. Good evening, Slav Bandit. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate you joining. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. It is really stormy, or it looks like it's gonna be, at least. So yeah, we got the flight number, origin, destination inputted, and now we're gonna go ahead and put in departure. So for departures tonight, we're gonna be taking off runway 1 left, and no SID, just straight over to Hawken waypoint. So 1 left, and we're just gonna go ahead and let's see, is that inputted? Yeah. So 1 left, we're gonna go direct to Hawken. Direct to Robbie, and direct to Cable. So Cable is the transition into the Kyler 3 star into runway 12 right at Minneapolis. So Cable is what we're gonna input now. Activate that, and we're gonna go arrival 12 right. We're obviously gonna be taking the ILS. And saw Kyler 3 there. Awesome. So we do have vector, which we actually, let's check the VAP map to see if there's any traffic going on up here. There probably is. Yeah, so we got Minneapolis ground, but in my opinion that's not enough, so we won't be tuning into the network. So we'll go that, and we should be good. So now we'll go perf init, and we're gonna input the information. I wonder if I can just, I forgot if it's autofill or what. Oh no, I remember now. I have to go to FS actions, payload, and then here we have the gross weight, 66.9. Yeah, and then I think the 0 fuel weight automatically auto completes. And then for plan fuel, we got 6.2. Do we round it to 3? We can. Sure, let's round it up to 3. So then we'll have 1.0 for reserves, and our cost index is 14. Altitude for cruise is going to be 300, so just 30,000 feet tonight. And then outside air temperature 24 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to pull up the METAR here on my Aviation Weather Center. So Milwaukee, that is accurate. So temperature 24, dew point 18, altimeter 3002. Go ahead and put that in right away. I think both barrows are synced. Yeah, should be synced. So flaps 5, and our CG auto completes. So we'll go 136, 138, 148, and we'll set the MCP flight directors on, and we'll go, since I got my Bravo set, first we're gonna do 163 for IAS, which is V2 plus 15 knots, and then altitude's gonna be 30,000 feet, so we're just gonna do that. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And then, yeah, pretty pretty much all set. Go ahead and turn on the APU. Yaw damper can come on to window heat. Can also come on, and we're gonna turn on anti-collision. Perfect. Okay, APU can start. Awesome. Man, this is great. You can hear that APU fire up in the background. This is a really nice freeware scenery by I&I Builds. Milwaukee for Microsoft Flight Sim. If you haven't checked it out, I would recommend that you do that because it is a really nice rendition, and it's for free too. I mean, doesn't really get much better than that. So we will soon have our APU available. We're gonna go ahead and trip the gens and switch to the APU generator. Okay, awesome. So we're now on APU gens. Hydraulic pumps can come on. And release ground power. Get rid of the chocks. Call the pushback tug. Truck. And switch to mode Charlie on the transponder, and we'll go 2000. Whoops. Bring that one down to 0, 0. Whoops. I don't know why it switched to the big knob. That's weird. I don't know why I can't move the last one. Oh, it's the big one. Okay. We started the pushback. We're gonna go APU bleed on. Make sure the bleed's on. Always a very important step. GRD, we're gonna watch N2 rise to about 25%. And man, I really need to get GSS for this pushback tool, because pushing straight back isn't very fun sometimes. Okay, so we will go ahead and stop there. Whoa. That's never happened to me. That's okay though. Oh, forgot about the fuel control valve. Okay, so that should be good. You can go ahead and listen up to this engine start. One thing I really hope to see improved in Microsoft Flight Sim 24 is the static models, because these, I mean, I'm not saying they're necessarily bad looking, but the liveries aren't exactly realistic, so it would be nice to have some real life aircraft liveries. Just like F-Spling 12 has a whole bunch of those. So we're gonna go engine 1 start. We're going to switch to that view for just a brief moment, because we have to increase fuel in a sec. There we go. Okay, we're gonna go auto brakes, RTO, those are set, awesome. Taxi light on, go ahead and switch to the generators. Gen 1, 2, go ahead and shut off the APU, packs can come on, probe heats can come on as well. And we got our taxi lights, okay, that's all good. Good go. And we're gonna go flaps. It's probably gonna ask us to verify takeoff speeds in a few moments. We're gonna go flaps 5. I really love the 737 flap sound. I think this livery's a little too clean, but it is what it is. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and re-verify our takeoff speeds here. Takeoff, bam. Just move it 1 for the IAS knob. Okay, so I'm gonna take a look at, yeah, that's gonna be an interesting turn. So we can make our way down to runway 1 left, if I'm not wrong, it's 1 left, yep. So we can do this. So we got Navigraph charts here on our EFB. We're gonna look up Milwaukee. Yo. And we're gonna go airport. There it is, perfect, okay. So we're gonna zoom in. And there it is, okay. So we're gonna focus on getting this airplane turned all the way around first. So I'm gonna hit my toe brakes. And we're gonna go full right on the rudder, all the way to the right. Actually, might even increase engine 2 power, sorry, a little more than engine 1. Yeah. There it is. Alright, let's re-engage auto throttle. Beautiful. See how close we actually end up being to this plane. Pretty close. That was a tight turn. Okay, so let's make our way down. Oh, forgot to set the pressurization panel. We're gonna go ahead and do that. 30,000 feet. And we're gonna head straight down. We're gonna make a right turn here on Bravo. So we're on Kilo right now. Should I see it? We're gonna make a right here. That's the runway though. Is it? Never mind, that is not the runway. We could have made a left, or gone straight, sorry. Is what I meant. But we can turn left here. It's no problem. We don't need to be right on the ramp. Okay. Make a left turn on Echo 1. There's the refueling wing all the way down there. 128th air refueling wing. Yep. And I think we're gonna cross the runway. So we're gonna cross runway 25 left for this taxi. Down to 1 left. I'm gonna go ahead and get our strobes ready, so we can go. Awesome. So we're gonna cross runway 25 left, and we're on Tango, and we're gonna take Romeo all the way down. So upon landing at Minneapolis, we will be checking out some new scenery, relatively new scenery that came out a few months ago, which is Flight Beam's Minneapolis, which is one of the most awaited sceneries in Microsoft Flight Sim. So we will be checking that out. I just picked it up, so really excited to check it out. And we're just gonna taxi down here, down Romeo. Beautiful ground textures. Really nice job by I9 Builds. And it's freeware too. So once again, if you have Microsoft Flight Sim and would like some free scenery that is really good looking, I would recommend this one, because it's just great and accurate too. I really wish we had Milwaukee for X-Plane. A good Milwaukee, even if it was payware. But that one might have to wait a good bit of time. So we're coming up on our hold short point here for runway 1 left. We're gonna go ahead and go all the way down. To Romeo sits. Wow, look, they even modeled the fence in that area right there. So we're gonna make a left turn here, go ahead and get all our lights prepped. And we don't need a logo. Pretty much good to go. Awesome, let's go ahead and call forward cabin for departure. Sure they're ready to go. And wow, I feel like I need to bring my rudder pedals slightly further back a little. Don't forget wing light. It's daytime, doesn't matter. Okay, so we're ready to go. We got transponder set, everything's good to go. We're gonna go ahead and go chrono. Actually, we're not ready yet because I have not put my flight plan into Volanta. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop here, hold short, or line up and wait. Test route. Yeah, it's a flight sim, Lee. Doesn't really matter. I mean, I see why, but it's okay if you forget something like that. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so everything's into Volanta. I'm gonna make sure. Okay. Alright, we're all set. We're gonna go ahead and start the clock. Bring it up to 40. Is this a toggle button? That's the toggle button on the Zebo. And Toga. I feel like I'm forgetting something. 80 knots. Go and rotate. Positive rate, gear up. I love checking the wing views after takeoff, personally. Seems like it's going to be an immediate left turn. Okay, whatever you say. Okay, N1, so auto throttle is good to go. Wow, massive stutters. We're gonna go flaps 2. Actually, let's bring them all the way up. We're past that speed. We're gonna go LNAV and we're gonna go autopilot on. We're gonna keep those on till 18,000 feet. Yeah, it is lagging pretty hard. I don't know if it's the scenery or what it is, but when I was on approach to Milwaukee a while ago on the A320, I didn't have that problem. Yeah, it's okay. As you say, Microsoft Flight Sim, it stutters. Even if it takes like 10 seconds, it's gonna come back, it's gonna recover. X-Plane, you get a massive stutter and you're done. Like you've lost hope. Oh, it might be the weather update, because the clouds just updated here, so that might be the reason why. I'm gonna go off on the auto brakes. We're gonna keep climbing. Okay. Great. Okay, Gen 1, we see... I never usually look at that. Wow, breaking out of a cloud layer. We're seeing some nice scenery at that point. Miss that spline? I don't really miss that spline. I try not to use that spline when I can. But if I'm flying something like the 7.5 or something like that, I will say though, that plane feels 10 times better than this sim to fly. Now that I've used both sims a significant amount of time, I can say that. Before, it was mostly just based on speculation, seeing what people said about the sim, and I just went with it because I was like die hard at Splane. But now, in my personal opinion, Microsoft Flight Sim just does not feel as realistic as Splane. That doesn't mean I enjoy add-ons less, like the PMDG, the Phoenix, PMDG 777. All those are awesome add-ons. Really, really great add-ons. Okay, let's take a look at how far we're from top of descent, because I do know it's a really short flight. I have taken this flight in real life, actually, but I think it was Delta. So top of climb within like 40 miles or so, and top of descent within 160 miles. Damn, it's not that short. Beautiful scenery down there. Beautiful cloud layers. We haven't looked at this view. I really like that view. It's one of my favorite wing views. I think the big thing with Microsoft Flight Sim now, it's gonna be like the plethora of releases coming up. Because for X-Plane, we do have some upcoming releases like the 707 and so on and so forth. But for Microsoft Flight Sim, there's just so many more projects that are happening. And then there's also Microsoft Flight Sim 24 with all the new physics and all that stuff. It's looking dangerous for X-Plane, I will say that. Well, I've never had issues with servers. I have when my internet goes down, but not necessarily photogrammetry or Bing satellite imagery streaming or anything like that. Oh, we're almost at 18,000 feet. I love short little hops like this one. This might be my first time ever flying Sun Country in Sim. I do know Sun Country also has international routes out of Milwaukee. Wait. Let's check. Is it Sun Wing or Sun Country that flies to Cancun? So Cancun, no, it's Sun Country. I was right. So happened a lot last week when I was gone. Yeah. Guess I was gone at the perfect time, because it's not happening to me. But I do know that if it does happen, I'll probably make a similar decision and move to X-Plane, because I do have a load of add-ons there too. Except the A320. I don't have the flight factor, and I'm not willing to buy it either, because I just don't. I mean, I'd buy the Tolas, but not the flight factor. Dang, that's crazy. I didn't know that would affect Microsoft Flight Simulator. It affects real life flights and Microsoft Flight Sim flights. It's crazy. Yeah, A320 is good. I've heard mixed reviews on it. I've seen people complain about it, this, that. I mean, most of the things that I've seen before about it are that it is a good add-on overall. I will say this. Wait, so you have the Flight Factor A320. Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna be like, do you prefer the Flight Factor or the Tolis A319? Because the Tolis A319 is my favorite X-Plane add-on that I have, and it would be interesting to see how it compares to the Flight Factor 320, because I've always heard things about both being compared, and I heard a lot more negatives on the Flight Factor than I have on the Tolis. I mean, in my personal experience with the Tolis, there may be some things that are iffy, like the model's a little iffy. Maybe some things about the flight model itself. But I enjoy the add-on a lot, regardless. It doesn't bother me too much. Because, I mean, again, I'm not a real-life pilot, let alone a real Airbus pilot. Now, between the Phoenix and the Tolis, I would probably pick the Phoenix. Okay. Have you seen the Matt's 737 iFly videos? Like the one that he made on the Flight Factory 320 a couple years ago? Only people I've heard say Tolis is better are Tolis diehard fanboys. I mean, personally, I like add-ons when I can use them. Like the PMDG, for example. As long as it has all the features that I need, I personally am okay with that. If some things are an op, like things that I don't need, maybe that'll bother me a little bit. But for the most part, I'm not big on very in-depth systems like ACARs, which isn't too in-depth, to be honest, but things that, you know, those things that are too deep, like deep simulation for the A320 or whatever plane, I'm not necessarily, I don't care that much. So that's why, I mean, I enjoy the Tolis a lot. It's easy to use, it's fun to fly, and Flight Factor might be better, but the only thing that really bothers me when I'm using an airplane is if I have technical issues with it, not with something about it that I need to use isn't working, or it crashes my sim, or it stutters a lot, or something like that. You're gonna go to Publix, get groceries? Awesome. Alright, I'll see you later then. Thanks for hopping along. Really appreciate it. It's gonna be a fun, relaxing flight down to Minneapolis. Let's check 80 miles, 160. So we're about to hit cruise. A little over 100 miles for top descent, if I'm not wrong. I think I can check that. Perf page? Or maybe cruise. Climb. Cruise, climb. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know we'd have... This is something I just recently found out about. I didn't know that it could tell you how much fuel you'd have when you reach the destination. It's pretty cool. A lot of storm clouds, seems like. Let's take a look at the weather at Minneapolis. So it says 040, the wind's at 040, 14 knots, gusting 24 knots, 5 miles of visibility, broken at flight level 006, 600 feet? That's what I'm guessing that means. Overcast at 1700 feet. Dang. And then temperature 19, dew point 18, altimeter 299 sits. Wow. Okay, so it is pretty cloudy down there. Up there, sorry. And let's take a look. So here I have. Oh, okay. So here I have like more sophisticated weather radar. Let's go up to Minneapolis, St. Paul. If I can find it on the map. Okay, here it is. So yeah, we're looking at some heavy stuff coming up. So let's look up UTC time. 10:22. Okay, 10:22 UTC. Seems like we've got some storms that are coming in from the west. Nothing too serious, just some thunderstorms. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Wow. So we just got a freeway Bogota for X-Plane. And wow, man, this looks fantastic. Man, this is amazing. That's amazing. There's been a lot of pretty good freeware scenery coming out for X-Plane lately. Do need an updated St. Louis for Microsoft Flight Sim because there's Field there, and then there's the other one. I forgot the name of the team. But I'm not convinced with either. I mean, I looked at the screenshots, and just by looking at the screenshots, you can just tell that the work is just slacking in so many ways. The textures of the ground and the buildings. And then, I mean, if you slack so much in one area to the point where it makes someone not want to buy it, then it's likely that you also slacked in another area, which might have been fundamental to the airport actually working properly or something like that. Which is why I'm not too fond of either option that we have for St. Louis. I think it'd be great if someone else made one. With so many sceneries coming out from Microsoft Flight Sim, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one within like a year or so. We'll just have to see. We've also got top descent coming up within about 80 miles. Soon to be coming up on Cable, which is the transition waypoint into the star for runway 12 right, Minneapolis. I'm really excited personally to see Flight Beam's Minneapolis rendition. Man, was that like very long awaited scenery. So was San Francisco. I might have to pick up San Francisco one of these days, because that is one scenery I most definitely do not want to miss out on. You know, the long hauls across the Pacific Ocean into Asia, just all the regional routes too. Really nice airport in general. I think BM Worlds is slightly cheaper, but I'd bet my money on Flight Beam. Actually, let's check. So I9 Manager, I do know I9 Builds has both. Let's check. So San Francisco, nope, they only have BM Worlds. 18 pounds. Okay, so it is slightly more expensive than Flight Beams, actually. Okay. I have BM World, their Phoenix. And I personally like their Phoenix. So I would think their San Francisco wouldn't be that bad. However, I have heard bad things about the frame rate, because some of the scenery is just so detailed and so poorly optimized. So that's something I would watch out for with BM World products. But with Flight Beam, I don't know, we'll have to see. We're gonna fly into a Flight Beam airport now, sooner than later. In just a few minutes, we'll be able to take a look at that ourselves. Because I know Flight Beam sceneries are super detailed too. I know Minneapolis for sure is extremely detailed. I think a good thing to do right now would be to check what gates the Sun Country park in at Minneapolis. So Terminal 2. Okay. So there's Terminal 1, which is Lindbergh. But Humphrey, which is the other terminal, all the way down. So yeah, that's probably the one we're gonna go to. I think the main one is for mostly Delta aircraft, international aircraft, traffic. I'm curious now, let's see. Minneapolis International Terminal. Let's take a look. Terminal 1. View map of Terminal 1. So we're going to take a look at the map. So Terminal 1. Here we can see the concourses. Unless they don't have a designated one, like Phoenix. I did see on Phoenix's American Airlines concourse, I think it was, when I flew in there a couple years back, there are some flights, international flights that depart out of that same concourse. So it might work out like that, or it might be like O'Hare. Because O'Hare's different. O'Hare has a separate terminal for international departures, whereas it seems like Phoenix and Minneapolis do not. Interesting. And I think this would be a good time to check out what our final approach fits altitude is. So that's our holding point for the go around if we decide to go around. And it seems like 4,000 feet is going to be our final approach fits altitude. So we're coming right up on that top descent point. So we got that 4,000 feet set on the MCP. Awesome. Those are off. Perfect. So Hender, flight level 240 above. We're at 300, so that should be fine. Brad, welcome aboard. Yeah, I have not been streaming the past few weeks. I've had some stuff going on. Yeah, but how you been, man? Thank you for hopping along. I know it's probably a little late over there in the UK. It's coming right up on that point. There we go. idling out. Got 31 minutes on chrono. I want to do a long haul one of these days on stream. That would be cool. I don't think I've ever done that before. Great, that's awesome to hear, man. It's only 11:36. Yeah. Great. You'll be able to see the landing then. So you guys are at about 6 hours ahead now. Because right now, right here, it's 5:37 p.m. So we're gonna go auto break 2 like usual. Might be a little bit of a steep descent from what I'm seeing. It says 14,000 above, which we're technically above 14,000 feet, but just not too far above. It's probably what that constraint's on about. Either way, we got Kyler, 12,000 above. Let's see. Most of these are just above. Nothing says below. So 4,000 above for Zesty, which is about, it's over 40 miles out. So I think we're good actually. Very cloudy descent down to Minneapolis tonight. Does anyone know if the Microsoft Flight Simulator clouds got an update? Because I don't remember them looking like this. Nothing bad about them. It's just they look a little different in a good way. Or maybe it's just the weather conditions I'm flying into. Because it is very cloudy and stormy here in Minneapolis. Might actually make a return to Microsoft Flight Sim at some point. And have you seen the i9 builds A350? Yes, I have seen the i9 builds A350, and I have high hopes for it because i9 builds products are usually pretty solid. So hopefully it'll be something like better than the Flight Factor, what we have currently for the Sims. From what I know, there is no A350 for P3D, so I think the Flight Factor is the only thing we have in Flight Sim, the only A350 that we have. So I am looking forward to it and to see how it compares to the existing A350, which is an X-Plane. One thing I've always wondered is how Bluebird's gonna do, because I haven't heard anything about those guys in a while. And it's like, I mean, we need some updates. This progress hasn't been going very quick for that. Which is completely understandable. Good products take time. actually going pretty slow, in my opinion. 255 at 23,000 feet. Come on. Okay, I'll take over this speed myself. Do I have to move the knob? Let's try doing that. Okay. Guess it doesn't let me do that. I think I have to turn VNAV off. Oh. Almost tipped the FCU over. We'll just leave it like that, I guess. I'm a really VNAV type of guy. VNAV, LNAV, just let VNAV and LNAV fly the whole plane type of guy. So I don't like messing around with whatever the computer already has set up. But in my opinion, we should be going faster than 256 knots. If we're at 21,000 feet, we should be going way faster than that. I would go 280 at this point in time. And there's a decel point coming up too, so interesting. We'll see how this goes. Maybe for fuel consumption purposes, I don't know. Okay, we're making a turn to the left. Maybe that's what it is. We might be maintaining our speed solely because of our vertical speed. Our descent rate might be influencing our speed in that regard. Just updating stream on my phone. Now we're gonna set the altimeter. So I'm gonna pull up Aviation Weather Center, KMSP, bam. 299 sits. Wow. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of stuff here. Wow. Okay, so visibility dropped a whole lot. So we have 3 miles of visibility now instead of 5. 030, 22 knots, gusting 34. Whole bunch of stuff broken at 800 feet, overcast at 1400 feet. Temperature 17, altimeter 29 sits. So we're gonna go ahead and set down our standby. Go ahead and plug that in. We don't have brake to vacate. Stuff should definitely be in the INA builds. Flight factor flies weirdly. Yeah, I do notice it's hard to land. It might be hard to land in real life, but I don't think I've ever had a good landing on the flight factor, if I'm being honest with you. In fact, the last landing, it was a 10-hour long haul, and it was something like 500 FPM. Like, actually, it was crazy. Okay, 140 knots, so VREF set. Flaps 40 is going to be our setting for landing. Yeah, I have noticed that. Like minimums. You know, I'd usually think it's one of those things you kind of have to get used to as you get more experience with the airplane, but it's weird that it is so difficult to pull back on the stick and to predict when the airplane is going to want to pull back. Maybe that's just because it's a heavy airplane, or we'll see. We'll compare it to the I built and find out. So 15,000 feet, you guys can already see there's insane cloud layers. Just 15,000 feet above the ground. You can see all the clouds. And we're going to be flying into one of those barriers pretty soon. Now, theoretically, the airport's 20 miles out, but we're going to be doing kind of the circle to land on this approach. And that is currently what is planned. Wonder if when you make liveries you can change the IFE to whatever you want. I have seen that on the Phoenix, if I'm not wrong. Smoothest I've actually gotten the flight factor is 88 FPM into Dallas with 21 knots of headwind. Well, that's good. I'm sure the headwind helped, though. It feels like you're flying a VTOL every time you're flying into a headwind for landing. Actually, let's take a look at the wind direction once again. So wind direction says 030, and okay, so it's gonna be pretty much, it's gonna be more of a, trying to think, a compass. Perpendicular wind. We'll just have to see. So right now we have a 34 knot headwind. So once we're established on the localizer, on the glide slope and all that stuff, dude, imagine seeing all these black clouds, like flying into these black clouds and seeing this outside your window as a passenger. Like, I'd be kind of scared, to be honest. Obviously, I think these are exaggerated, but in real life, it looks somewhat something like that. So here we can see some more cloud layers, kind of breaking out of a huge chunk. And then here we see some lower ceilings. So there's variation in altitude and ceilings here and there. This one's so much smoother though. So if we take a look at the weather again, it says we have overcast at 1,400 feet. Let's check the visibility again. 3 miles. Okay. It's pretty crazy. So 10,000 feet, 10,900 feet, we got our auto brakes set, everything's good to go. Oh, landing lights should come on by this point. And seatbelt signs are on, we got everything set, everything's ready to go. And for landing altitude, we could pull up a chart, find out. So we're gonna go MSP, and we're gonna go star, and we are taking the Kyler 3. So that's the RNAV. So now we can look at the approach for runway 12 right. So we got ILS or localizer, 12 right. Runway 12 right. And glide slope is at Kins 3,000 feet. Okay, well then we can adjust that accordingly. Whoa. There we go. Kins at 3,000 feet. So that is the final approach. Fits. We got ILS. Decision height is 1,000 feet. Okay. Localizer frequency, we're gonna go ahead and plug that in, 110.3. Plug that into the active. Great. And then for the course, we have 121 degrees for final approach course. So we're gonna set the course to 121 degrees. Okay, that should be good. Yeah, decision height at 1,000 is pretty crazy. Well, here it says in parentheses 200 feet, so that might have to do with the elevation. Maybe. Yeah, because that's airport elevation 842 feet. So that makes sense. Makes sense. So it's right at 200 feet above ground level. This is mean sea level. So let's go ahead and bring down. Let's bring that stuff down. Awesome. Make our right turn about 8,000 feet on Greek, going 230 knots, 220 actually. We're supposed to be going 230. So FMC speed. Okay, we've got auto brake set to 2, and we still see a whole bunch of clouds. We can't even see the city. Still pretty high up. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Crazy weather down here. I'm interested to see how hard it will be to maneuver the aircraft on final approach. So 1,000, basically minus 1,000, and we're at 6,800 feet right now, above ground level, and we still haven't broken past the ceilings. So I have a feeling we won't see the ground for a good bit of time. So 50 minutes on the clock. SimBrief says that we should be landing in 8 minutes. That sounds about right to me, but we'll see what it says on the clock once we land. What's the 176 mean? What if I change that? 176. I wonder what that means. $5,800 making a right turn towards Zesty. 4,000 above. That's what it says. And now we're finally seeing some ground. So we see a lake down there, something like that. Oh wow, rainbow. Gotta take a screenshot of that. Okay. So maybe it's the fog because it says 3 to 2 miles of visibility. So now it says broken at 1600, so overcast 5,000 feet. Okay. So the weather improved a lot actually. Just as we were descending, it improved a whole lot. So we're about to hit this is the overcast ceiling, 5,000 feet. So we go lower, we still will see broken up until 1,600 feet. And somehow the visibility is still 3 to 2 miles, so I'm guessing most of it has to do with the fog. I'm gonna go ahead and bring out speed brakes. At this point we should be going slower. I think we can go approach mode as well. Should be catching the localizer pretty soon. There it is. Glide slope, gear down. We're gonna go flaps 5. Okay, so let's bring the speed down to 140 knots, and I'll have to check exactly what it is here. Yeah, it's 140 knots. So we're gonna go flaps 15 right away. We're gonna bring out the speed brakes. Runway's coming up quick. So with the gear down, it is easier to slow down. So we are 2,500 AGL at this point. Keep the speed brakes out. Wow. Still inside the cloud layer. Flaps 25. And once we hit, okay, we hit Kins, we're gonna go flap full now. Okay, there we go. Just waiting to break out of that cloud layer. So we do have a whole bunch of clouds. Wow, okay, so 25 knots. And it is pretty much a headwind. I mean, all things considered, I would say this is more of a headwind than a crosswind. So, good choice of runway. Start to see some stutters here on our approach. I can start to see some of the ground now. Still no visibility. Yeah, we only have 3 miles of visibility anyway. So, I mean, we're 400 feet above minima, so I still have hope that we'll see the runway. And either way, I mean, we have ILS, so if anything, I'll just land. I'll just let. Should be able to see the runway, hopefully. There it is. Okay. So there's the runway. We're at VREF speed. We're at flaps 40. You can see the runway off in the distance. We're at about 1,000 feet. Okay. So we can see the runway lights. I'll say continue on this approach. And I'll get myself situated. I'll let auto throttle do its thing for a couple more minutes, or sorry, moments, because of the wind. There it is. Okay. And we'll go auto throttle off as well. Wow. This feels very weird. This approach just feels... Oh. Speed's going up. I feel like we're gonna have a harder time landing the plane, or... Wow. We're coming in like diagonal pretty much.
50, 30, 20,
We're using the rudder here.
10.
Oh, that might have been a little too much. Okay, so right on the zone. Could have been worse. Is that clapping? That's funny. I love FS Realistic. So yeah, that was some crazy stuff right over the runway. Most people would have gone around, but I was just like, you know, I can handle this. I only go around when I never go around. Anyway, welcome to Minneapolis. And I'm gonna stop here on this whole choke point to check out where the heck the Humphrey terminal is. Actually, no, I know it's down that way, but I'm still gonna pull up Navigraph because better be safe than sorry. There is no visibility. I can't see past 3 miles. So I'm gonna pull up the flaps. Something similar when he flew to Alicante. Yeah, for some reason, like, those types of cities have a whole bunch of fog and stuff. It's like the worst place possible to have fog. Anyway, flaps are coming up. Look at these ground textures. Man. Wow. These are likely the best ground textures I have ever seen in Microsoft Flight Sim. I will say that. In all honesty. So we're gonna pull up the charts. We're gonna go airport and airport info. Boom. So yeah, here it is. Humphrey Terminal 2. We're gonna go back down to Alpha. We're gonna take a left on Charlie, and we should be good. Should be good. Parking brake off. Bring the power up a little more. And we're gonna go steady. Logo lights, swing lights can come off. We don't need any of that anymore. So we will be going down on Alpha, down to the Humphrey Terminal, where the Sun Country aircraft are. Very beautiful rendition of Minneapolis by Flightbeam. If you can take a look at the terminal, the touch string. The buildings look fantastic. And I have pretty good frame rate here. Wow, beautiful ground textures. Amazing ground. Amazing buildings. The lighting too. Man, that was 100% worth the purchase. Highly recommend Flightbeam. I was gonna say Microsoft Flight Sim Minneapolis. For those of you who are considering the airports. Just gonna tell you right now, I don't think I've ever seen better ground textures anywhere else on any other airport that I own for Microsoft Flight Sim. So here's where we're gonna take a left on Charlie to go and cross runway 12 rights. Even the taxi signs look custom to me. I think they are. So we're gonna make a left here on Charlie. Go all the way down. There's the Humphrey Terminal right down there. Whole bunch of aircraft parked there. We're just gonna cross this runway. Make our way down. So we should have our APU ready to go. That's all good to go. Left on Tango? Yes. We can make a left on Tango. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. I can just eyeball it because the ramp's right there. I can see it. Let's do that. Entering the non-movement area. Tattoo light can come off. And we're gonna park at one of these gates. We're gonna park at this one. Gates 13. Actually, I want this one, 14. Or 12. Because it's a little further in. I don't like to be right on the edge at the terminal. It's something I'm not a big fan of. I don't like those types of parking spots. Yeah. Texturing is incredible. I mean, I don't think I've seen anything better than this. So yeah, really nice airport by flight beam. I will have to check out the Edinburgh that came out by Pyrig, because I saw the screenshots on that and they're insane, like crazy stuff. Seatbelt signs can come off. We're gonna go off, off for the adheres, and there we go. Anti-collision lights off. We're gonna leave the nav lights on, and we're gonna go ahead and request jetway connection. You have to use the ATC tool for that.
Minneapolis ground SUNCOUNTRY-738, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
Encountering 738, the jetway is going to be connected.
So we're gonna see how that connects, because in most sceneries, a lot of sceneries that I have doesn't connect them very well. Also, the ground puddles are amazing as well. Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take a screenshot of this because it looks amazing. But yeah, welcome to Minneapolis. We're just gonna go ahead and shut off the APU. Emergency lights can come off. Battery off. Man, I think I have to install that replay add-on because I really want to check out the replay of that landing, like that crazy right rudder action to align the plane to the runway. Let's go ahead and check out the FPM though. We didn't check that out after landing. So, review flights. 45 FPM at 120 knots. Wow, that's pretty crazy. That's the best landing I've had in a while then, FPM wise. I mean, the approach was crazy, but I guess right towards the end of the zone too. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and roll the outro music. Yep. So, welcome to Minneapolis. It was a fun flight. Really appreciate all you guys joining the stream. Yeah, minus 45's pretty insane, to be honest. Should be coming out with some tutorials in a bit, depending on how much time I have. The next one on the list is the glass one, because that's the most requested one, the PBR glass and stuff. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching this flight. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun flying up here. I highly recommend that both Milwaukee by INI Builds and Minneapolis by Flightbeam as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, for supporting my channel, by just being here, and I really hope you guys have a wonderful day. Yep. See y'all.